evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Sorry, I was a little bit sidetracked then. I was hoping that Fulham had scored before we come live. Good evening, Anne-Marie. Good evening, Paddy. And a special welcome to young Daniel. How are you, pal?
Good, mate. How are you getting on? You okay?
Yeah, as I said just before we come on, a bit hungover, mate. So I'm just hoping for a Fulham victory here to...
A usual Sunday night, Danny.
Is that right? Are you nailing that Jägermeister in the background, Andy, or what? Plenty going on there behind you, isn't there? So,
plenty going on here, mate. There's plenty going on. And Anne-Marie, that's why it's called the PUBcast, you know.
Good point.
Exactly.
It's a PUBcast, not a podcast. Good evening, everybody in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's been a decent all week, hasn't it?
Certainly has.
Mm-hmm. Because even though Liverpool beat us, I even though I was there, I don't know about you guys, but I always have to, when I'm live at a match, I always have to watch it on the TV after. And then I get Paddy's perspective then.
You're straight in between feet straight away.
Oh, straight in with the two feet.
It wasn't called for, Paddy.
Exactly. Even my armchair Alliance fan has left me, started taking matches. Scabby Stan.
Yeah. Stan's away for the weekend. He's okay. He's just away for the weekend in Leeds of all places. But Danny, I took Stan to the Newcastle match.
Yeah.
And he goes, and we sat there. We sit in the north stand, and he goes like that. He pulls a remote out of his pocket, mate.
Did he think it was his mobile or something?
Honestly, he pulls a remote and I went, see, you're an armchair fan, mate.
Quality. Yeah, I love it. Well, he didn't pick a bad game to go to then, did he? That was probably the best of the bunch recently.
Well, he's been to 3 this season. Forest, Newcastle, and he went yesterday. So,
right.
I'll
buy him a season ticket, mate. No problem.
Well,
let's keep him there.
Well,
keep winning.
He can have mine after this season, but that's another story. Yeah, well, we didn't really touch upon the Liverpool match on Monday because for one thing or another. Looking back at it, I don't think we played that bad, you know.
No, I don't think we did. I think there were spells in it where I think, you know, we look decent. We look a little bit more like the old City, don't we? We were moving the ball well. You know, I don't know how much of it, though, to be honest, was them being happy with us in possession. I think it might have been an element of that. They were quite happy to let us play in front of them and then using the pace of Salah and stuff to hit us on the break. Because, let's be honest, I think every time it went forward to Salah, you know, not only the players, but the whole stadium were like a nervous wreck, weren't we? Because we know how good Salah is with all the record he's got against us. And, yeah, I thought there were elements of it that looked really good, but I just wondered, to be honest with you, mate, I just wondered how much of it was down to Liverpool just being happy with the way that the game were going, especially after the goal. I mean, he literally just sat back, didn't he? But no, I think it weren't the worst performance, and I think that's where we're at the minute. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's where we're at when we come up against a good side, a really good side like the likes of Madrid and Liverpool. I feel like we're just not quite there this season, and I feel like that's the way it's going to go.
Even the first game against Madrid, I thought we played okay. I thought we let ourselves down a little bit at the Bernabeu, but there's signs there in the where we're getting back, and especially with the new additions. I think as Stan nicknamed in now, we've got what does he call him now?
AK-47.
No,
AK-45.
Beckenbauer.
Beckenbauer.
I love it. I heard the cushionator yesterday, so I was going. I actually used that. I was doing half time on the pitch yesterday, and I actually caught because it was his birthday. I had to announce his birthday being a bit weird because he's obviously born on the 29th of February. So I announced him as the cushionator. So I hope it's gonna take off that one, mate. I like it.
No offense, mate. Us Beckenbauer's better.
Oh, I get it. I like that. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Listen,
smiley.
Danny, you know, half time and stuff like that. I'd love nothing, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people. People would want you to do the match announcement full time rather than our friend Alex You know, because there's been criticism of Alex, hasn't there?
There has. I mean, for me, mate, it's not something I want to do, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? I kind of, in terms of what I do, I enjoy it because it allows me to watch the game. So from my point of view, I think if I was doing a job at City that interrupted me watching the game, I think I'd struggle to do the job. So obviously, when you're in the PA room, you've got to be, because I've done the PA at the Etihad a few times. I've done it, you know, a lot over at the, you know, for the EDS games and the under-18s and the women's games and stuff like that. And you have to concentrate, you know what I mean? You can't just sort of sit back and enjoy the game. You've got to be looking at what's going on. You've got to be then getting ready for announcements, looking at who's coming on, who's going off. You're getting yourself geared up for it. So I don't think you watch the game the same way. So for me, it's more important that I watch the game. And I think that's why I enjoy what I do, because it's the beginning of the game. It's half time, and it's well, it used to be after the game as well, but we stopped doing that over the last few seasons. But yeah, I'm not sure it'd be my cup of tea that anyway, Andy. However it came about,
we'd want a blue doing it, mate, because it's well documented. I'm not digging Alex out. It's well documented. He's a United fan, and
I don't think he is. I don't think he is. Andy.
No, he is, mate.
It's not I know then. If it is, I mean, I don't know. He's a United fan. I've always, I guess, just assumed he was a City fan. So you're telling me that, and that's news really to me.
No, my mate Wes, who lives in Stockport, is mates with Alex, and he went, he's 100% red. And but listen, but it sort of like leads me on to a little bit, because Monday's show just went a little bit mental. Like your name was dropped, Nats was dropped, and it just went off into a tangent. From my perspective, nobody was really digging anybody out. How did it come about, Anne-Marie, anyway?
Because we're very frustrated as fans with the whole ticketing situation, the cost of tickets, the fact that we're getting more and more away fans in the home end. And it was like, what can we do about it? And obviously, we've seen over the last couple of weeks the 1894 and the official supporters club have got together and they've written a letter to the club. 1894 also did that video last week, and it was just a case of who else can be in our corner as supporters. That was really how it came about. Because really, we're not always painted in a great light. You know, they go on about it being the Etihad, which, you know, we all know isn't the case. But you know, we're in a position where we're no longer of importance to the club, which is becoming more and more evident, because we're not going to bring them what they want. Ultimately, we're not going to go in and spend a few £100 in the souvenir shop every time we go to the game and different things. And we just want our voices heard. And I think that's where it kind of came about. And we were looking, you know, from my point of view, I was looking at yourself, Danny, and Natalie, because Natalie's in a great position now with being on TalkSport and everything as well. And I know it's a difficult situation as well, but, you know, surely there's more we can do. That was the bottom line of it.
I think from my perspective, looking back in hindsight, I think soon as like Natalie and Danny's name was mentioned, I probably went off my tits a little bit, because
yes, you know, that's all right.
No, because, you know, I'm very protective. Danny knows we've known each other a long time, mate, and I just didn't want them put in the same light as some of the others, you know, like, and again, I'm not digging just Alex out. I've already mentioned his name, because anybody who knows that Danny, and I won't speak for Nat, because Nat's not here, and it'd be unfair for me to speak about Natalie, because, you know, Danny's offered to come on the show for his side of this. He don't even need to come on to justify it, because anybody who knows Danny he doesn't need to justify himself, or, you know, with the length you've supported City, Dan. But I think that's why last week I was just very, very protective, you know, of the name dropping.
I mean, obviously, you've asked me to come on a few times in the past, and I am a little bit cautious just because I think what I've got to understand as well with City is it is my job. You know what I mean? It is something that, of course, I'm as big a blue as anyone. I've had a season ticket for as long as I can remember. I've still got a season ticket now. I can get in the ground free. I can sit where I want. I can go where I want. I still have a season ticket. I still play for Platinum. I still pay for 80% of the away games that I go to. You know, I've seen City 30 odd times away in Europe. You know, club's never paid for any of that. That's me as a fan that's done it. And I just think, I mean, I'm not coming to wade into anyone. I think it's just about time I came onto this really, because Andy's asked me a few times, but I felt the timing was right, really, Anne-Marie, because I think I understand your opinion, but I completely don't agree with it. And I think there's probably a lot of people like you out there that maybe look at what me and that do and think, well, why are they not doing more? I think we do what we can do. I think, again, you've got to appreciate that, you know, we don't want to lose our job. We can't say too much. Mm-hmm. Like if you worked for the council and you started slating your manager in the department that you work for, you're going to get yourself in trouble. But the other flip side of it is, like, genuinely, I see so much that the club do right and do well and do for the fans. I know you're saying you feel like they're drifting a little bit, you know, maybe to the hardcore blues. But there's people in, you know, like Danny Wilson, who's the director of operations in now for City, and you know, he's got the heart of gold. But I guess it's really hard to juggle everything and please every single person. And I've got to defend that a little bit as well, because she seems to get a lot of flack now. And I know you said something about because she works on Talks, but the problem that is she's a professional presenter now. I'm not. I have a day job. The City job is the greatest sideline job in the world. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Natalie is a professional presenter. So you can't believe how much work Natalie has been told she can't have because she's too City. She's too partisan to City. Do you get what I mean? So there's so much people like TV channels and stuff like that where Natalie could walk into roles.
She'd never get on Sky Sports then, mate, would she?
Well, she might do in the future, but the problem.
No, I mean, they don't want anybody City on there, really, do they?
Well, I mean, hopefully one day she will, because she's really talented, but she's as blue as they come. Natalie was at York away. You know, she's not a Johnny come lately sort of City fan. She's somebody who has been through the thick and thin with City, and I feel like me and her, we try and represent the fans the best we can because we're fans. You know, no other reason. We're fans. You cut us open. We bleed blue without a shadow of a doubt. But like anything else, you've got to be careful, haven't you? Certain times you can't just go out blating. You know, sometimes maybe there are things with supporters that maybe I don't see that are quite right. You know, in things that they do, but. They've got so much to do, so many balls to juggle. It's really difficult to get everything right every single time. But as I said, I just wanted to get my side across. It's not because I guess you're not on your own with what you think, Anne-Marie. You know what I mean? And but I guess from my side, you've got to appreciate it is difficult for us because we want to remain fans, but we have to know where the lines are.
I totally get that, and you're in a real no-win situation. I totally appreciate that, but we're in a place where we've got City Matters, which is just a box ticking exercise by the club, because I don't think they're listened to in any way, shape, or form.
Right. I disagree with that, but yeah. Only because I've seen it in operation. I've seen how it works and how it does affect things, but it doesn't affect everything. Not yet. Things take time sometimes. You know what I mean? It's a big club now, and there's a lot of people involved in making decisions. It doesn't always happen overnight, but I wouldn't rule City Matters out as a long-term thing. I think it does have an impact. It definitely has an impact.
Well, whether you can say or not, do you think the club should be more, or even City Matters, more transparent to make the average fans, understand what's going on and stuff like that? Because I'll be honest, Danny, my season tickets are going back after this season, mate, because I've had enough, and it's sad that, because it's
what have you had enough of, Andy?
It's and again, my and I've said this, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. There's a family of 3 who sit behind me, Dan. And when they can't go, they sell the tickets back to City.
Yeah.
Now, not just this season, over the past 3 seasons, we've had rival fans in them seats. So we know they've not been gone on the black market, as it were. They've gone back to City, and for whatever reason, rival fans have got hold of these tickets. So there's a lot of questions being asked with about City, you know, the way they're distributing tickets and stuff like that at the moment. And I do feel a little bit alienated these days because, yeah, the club's got to progress. I get all that with the hotel. Like where I've sat now for donkey's years, we're going to be moved. We're going to be moved now in the North Stand because of all the hospitality, what's going in there and stuff like that. Yeah, times change and stuff like that. I don't want to start mixing with, you know, away from people I've been sat with for donkey's years because it bloody so spooky in here. Then sorry, yeah, I just feel there's certain things where the club can do better than what, because years ago the club did do absolutely fantastic with more or less everything. I just feel it needs a bit of a wobble. And again, I don't expect, you know, anything you can't say, Danny. You know, you know
what, mate? I don't know enough about it to comment, really. You know what I mean? I don't have really an insight into how the ticketing system works. And, you know, obviously I know, you know, there's been a lot of kind of talk on socials around, you know, some of the away fans in the home end. I even saw it yesterday with Plymouth. I saw a few Plymouth fans jump up because I was down at the service tunnel, and even in the South Stand, they just missed the penalty, United. And then, in the South Stand, in the North Stand, in the family stand, a couple of Plymouth fans jumped up and it all kicks off. So, I know that is happening, and I haven't really got an opinion on what they do, but yeah, I get it. We don't want away fans in the home end, you know, absolutely not. As for the kind of overseas fans, you know, the tourists that come in to watch the game, I mean, if the tickets are available, you know, they're gonna buy them, aren't they? I've not got a problem with it personally, but I know not everybody, you know, everyone wants the kind of the regular hardcores turning up every week, and maybe there's a situation, especially with the extension now, that we can get everybody and everyone can be happy. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, that's side by side. It's just that it's good to get you on to put your spin. And as I say, I'm not going to speak for Nat because I think it's unfair to speak for Nat, but you know exactly what she does on the day-to-day stuff and stuff like that. So, you know, it's good for people, you know, to understand what goes on the nuts and bolts in the engine room, as it were. Yeah.
And she, and like I say, just finishing off with that, because like I say, we worked together for 14 years. You know, we've been lucky enough, both City fans, both got an opportunity, you know, 14 years ago to sort of be presenters.
Breaking news.
Manchester United.
Oh, what a damn shame, mate. What a damn shame.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
I'm with you, mate. That's absolutely cheered me right up, that one. But,
all we want now is Preston in the next round.
Preston away would be lovely. Away would be lovely now. But yeah, you know, like I said, we and Nat have worked together a long time. I see how much effort she puts into everything she does. You know, she's as blue as they come. And like I say, it is affecting her career because she can't get certain jobs because she's too blue. But then to some fans, she's not blue enough. And it's just a really hard thing for us both, more so for Natalie, because like I said, I've got the dream second job, Anne-Marie. You know what I mean? I get paid to do a job for City that I'll be honest with you, when I first started, I did it for free. Do you know what I mean? I did it for free because I absolutely loved it. And I just thought, wow, I'm getting this opportunity. But obviously it's different now. It's a bigger show. You know, what you probably don't see is on a match day, we have to turn up 4 hours before kickoff. We have a meeting. We go through our scripts and production and, you know, and everything that we have to do. You know, we have to put a lot of work in it. So we get paid for what we do, of course, because like a steward would or someone works in the ticket office, you know, we do a service on the day. But it doesn't stop us being City fans. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that, you know, people are watching this as well, we'll just give Nat a break as well with it a little bit, because she gets a bit of stick because she's a woman in football as well. There's a lot of old school people who don't like her, you know, don't like her being involved. And, you know, she knows more about, she's beat me on every City quiz we've ever done. She knows more about City than I do. She's probably been to as many games as I've been to. I didn't go to York away. I'll say that openly. I wasn't there. She was, and she's got pictures to prove it. Do you know what I mean? So she has been through the mill with City. and she loves the club. We get nothing free, by the way. I know you mentioned, probably picking up freebies, pay for every single ticket that I get. The odd time, if there's a couple of spare tickets that haven't been sold for a cup game, they might say to the staff, can you get rid of them to somebody?
That's a perk of the job, mate. I'm sure everybody in any job has perks of the job, so understand that it's the perception of what people see. So it's good for people who don't know the nuts and bolts, to actually understand. Listen, I know you don't get freebies. I know I've seen you on your socials many times on coaches and trains and stuff like that, with a few of them in the background,
Yeah, well, I travel with Ashton or Bredbury. I go, like I say, I go to a massive chunk of the away games. I've got a lot of points. I can pretty much get any ticket really that's available, and I've earned it. You know what I mean, by going over the years and being a fan. And as I said before, I don't want a job that interrupts me watching the game. I sit in the 119 in the south. I've just moved from 117 to 119 in the south stand. I stand with my mates where I've kind of been around since I've been in that stadium, and nothing will change for me. I love the job I do, but I'm a City fan first and foremost, and that's exactly the same. So I just wanted to address that. Let's move on for it and talk about City. No point addressing this all night, but I just wanted to. That's why I wanted to come on, not to sort of have a go at anyone for what they said, because I understand your opinion, Anne-Marie, that probably is the same opinion as others, and sometimes it is directed at me and that on social media a little bit, what you said. But I think you've got to kind of appreciate our situation as well. We are City fans, but we are trying to do a job for the club as well.
Oh yeah, I totally appreciate that, Danny. And in all honesty, you do a great job, you and Natalie. There's no doubt in that at all. But it's just the level of frustration I've got with the club at this moment in time.
I could tell. Yeah.
Because we're in a position where, my dad's been a season ticket holder since 1959. He's 84 years of age, and they can't even, and they won't give him a physical season ticket. And well, like a card, because he's got a phone that just literally texts and calls.
Right.
He relies on me for the mobile ticket on my phone. But if I'm not going for whatever reason, he can't go, because
I'm sure they can sort that. Get my number off Andy after this, and I'll speak to somebody at the club that I know who can probably get a card sent out to him. So just get Andy, give my number or whatever. Just drop me a message, and you're just with your season card details, and I'll speak to somebody, see whether we can sort that, because that's no good for your old man, is it?
No.
My dad's, what is my dad? He's 78, 79, my dad, and he wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo what to do with a smartphone. So
it's still got Snake on it.
He's funny. He's funny. But like I say, I get you. I appreciate your point of view, but a part of coming on was just to address it, because sometimes we are there to be shot at a little bit. Sometimes me and that, and we find it frustrating, because ultimately, like Andy knows, I'm as big a blue and Nat's as big a blue as anybody. You know what I mean? We love this club to bits, and we've been there through all the good and bad times. So I just think I understand the frustrations about certain things that are going on, but I just wanted to address our side of it, really. That was all.
Yeah, no worries.
At the end of the day, Danny, fans have to be realistic. They can get frustrated or whatever and go after the low hanging fruit in yourself and Nat or whatever, who else is on the kind of down at the bottom of the pecking order as such in the club. But fans have to realise too, what power do you actually have within the club? If that's not your full-time job, or even if it was your full-time gig, and as I said last week to Anne-Marie, if he speaks out or not speaks out, they lose their job, they lose their livelihood, and why should they do that? It's a very same. I give this very same example as you give to Anne-Marie last week, that you go around slagging your boss off online and having a go, see what will happen to your job.
Yeah,
you won't have one.
Yeah. Of course.
You have to. You have to be realistic about these situations. You can get frustrated. Yes, you can get angry. Yes, you can do whatever. But if you're going to get frustrated, at least aim it in the right direction.
Yeah, no, fair shout. Yeah, fair shout.
No. Right.
Talk about City now.
Did any of us think we was going to get anything at Spurs away? I tell you what the anticipation there, especially on the back of Chelsea won the night on Tuesday, was it? I thought we put a decent performance in again down here. And again for me, us Beckenbauer is.
I love that. I might nick that. You know what? Listen out for the next home game. I might be nicking it. I'm not going to credit it. I'm going to keep it as my own.
Yeah, keep it as your own.
It's better than the what did I say? The Cushionator. I think it's a better one. I'll give you that.
That's your gift for joining us tonight,
thanks,
mate.
Pal. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, I'll take all the.
I'm be happy for copyright if you use that.
It's yours, your gift, mate. The way he got slaughtered after the Chelsea in the media, that is, certain sections of the media where just looking who we're going to get drawn against there as well.
Oh yeah, the draw's on in it now. Yeah.
The Fulham at home.
It's different. The Man United fan throwing the balls.
Crystal Palace.
I think the one we don't want really is probably Villa, innit? I think Villa would be the
Preston.
Preston.
Come on, number 7, Pally.
Yes, 7. No, is it? Who is it?
No, Preston.
3. Palace.
Number 6 is Bournemouth at home 2.
No, fuck, don't want them. No, definitely don't want them.
7. But we're away to Bournemouth. So it'll be listen, it is what it is. If your name's on the cup, your name's on the cup, innit?
It's going to be tough, that. It's going to be tough. But, I mean, you're going to win the cup. You're going to have to play. We're lucky with who's in it, aren't we? A lot of the big dogs are out now, with Arsenal being out and Chelsea are out. Liverpool are out, yeah. So, yeah, listen, tough draw. I'd rather have been at home, but nice trip to the South Coast. That's a long road. That's on a Saturday, because that's a long one. But, I think going back to that Tottenham game, just my slant on it was, just the frustration of that first half, wasn't it? I thought we were absolutely brilliant first half. We created, what's Savinho doing with that finish and even Erling as well, that could have put us out of sight at half time. And it's a different second half then. If we're 3-0 up going in at half time, it's a different second half. But so many positives, you know what I mean? If you're just looking for that City identity, I think we had that in the first half again, didn't we? A bit like Newcastle. We were moving the ball well. We were creating chances. The Doku, Savinho wing, I don't think we will see that many times this season. I said that at the beginning of the season because I think Pep likes to have at least one that's going to offer a bit of control, doesn't he? Where instead we had 2 that went for it, and in the first half they were causing all kinds of problems. But just a shame we couldn't have got that second at least. I think a second would have calmed everyone down. I think we'd have just took control second half. But then seems to be that thing at the minute with second halves. They get on your nerves, don't they? Because we just, I don't know whether we run out of ideas a little bit, run out of energy, run out of legs. I don't know what it is, but it seems like teams get a bit more of a second wind against us in the second half. And we were holding on for a chunk of it, really, weren't we, if we're fair in the second half. But great win. Take the 3 points, and the middle of a tough run, you'll take them 3 points that we don't normally get. So,
bar a joke again.
Paddy, what's sort of impressed me apart in the Premier League, take away the Liverpool match, the way we've started managing the game again, so that the game management, we did it against Newcastle brilliantly. And what impressed me against Newcastle, it's the way we wasn't side, back in possession. We was actually pushing them up. And it was the same against the Spurs. Although they had the chances, I thought we managed the game a lot better than we've done early season.
Yeah, but again, going back to being realistic, you're not going to go away to Spurs, or you're not going to go away to any Premiership team and dominate them for 90 minutes. They're going to have spells in the game. What impressed me was we were able to soak that pressure up, and we didn't cave in and we didn't concede. Couple of months ago, they'd have scored, but with the new guys and that bit of steel at the back on Beckenbauer, it's just you can see it's starting to come back. Even the young lad last night, against Plymouth. Like, he looks composed. Yes, he's young, but like, you can see why. Like,
I love what I
definitely
saw
think
from him last night.
They were some of the signings.
Yeah, I'm just saying I loved what I saw from that. Apparently, I got told, because obviously I have to announce the players off the bus when they arrive, so I've got to get the names right. So I got told you pronounce his surname is Heish. That's how you pronounce his surname. So it's called Vitor Heish. Yeah, even though it's not spelled like that. But I was wet. I know it was all right. You could say it's only Plymouth, but I just thought he looked good in the air, aggressive. He's got a good frame. He's a bit skinny, but he'll build. I thought the thing about him is he just looked like he's one of them players that, again, he looks like he's got time on the ball. He's just a very composed, cool sort of centre half. And bear in mind, it's his first, game in the Etihad. A bit of pressure on him to deliver. I thought he looked really, really good. I mean, I'm quite excited. That's a sign of a great player,
No,
what? Sorry, mate.
That's a sign of a great player when they can demonstrate, when they make it look easy and they look they make you think they have time on the ball. Like it's just, they're unreal, especially his counterpart, Husnov or when Beck is back. That lad is going to be unbelievable.
Oh, I don't know about anyone else. I am so excited by what I've seen from Kushanov. I think he's just, he looks about 14, doesn't he?
He looks happy. He looks happy to play for us, doesn't he?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, look, he saw that on his photos when he signed.
He never smiled.
Watch how miserable he looks when I start interviewing him one day. I mean, that'll really tip him over the edge, you reckon? That. No, he's. Let's hope he just means business. You know what I mean? Because he seems, again, very composed, very calm. That idea of him not having a wash bag, Pep said. He didn't. Wash bag coming on. I love that. You know what I mean? He just wants to get on with it and get home. And he probably stunk on the way back.
Old school, innit? You don't need a wash bag. It was just like a typical Mike Tyson in his heyday. No robes and stuff like that. I just want the short gloves ready to go to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I was saying before the draw, then the Chelsea match, the way he recovered after the yellow card and that.
Character, innit? Character, yeah, absolutely. And like you just said there, Andy, the way that he covers the ground, he's so fast. I mean, when you watch it live at the stadium, you appreciate it that little bit more, don't you? And
you'll have to explain that more.
He's walker fast. He's walker fast, by the way. He is.
You're going to get it tonight.
So what Danny's saying, Paddy, is when you watch it live at the ground, it's quicker than the cameraman going like that.
You're getting sticky, Paddy. Yeah.
But he is the one player.
All right, Danny. I'll meet him before the season's out.
Good lad.
We'll see how brave he is in person.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I like it. You film that, Andy. You make sure you film that.
Yeah. When he sees somebody 6'3" and 18 stone, ex-professional strongman stood beside him.
Hey, remember where you are?
See how fucking brave he is, Dan.
You're in Torremolinos, mate, and we know what Torremolinos is famous for. You just be quiet sometimes.
I think we have to give big credit to Nico O'Reilly yesterday as well.
Yeah,
I thought he had a great game when he's playing in an unnatural position for him. I thought he did really well yesterday, and the two goals, good goals.
Yeah, I agree.
What was impressive for me yesterday, and it's again only Plymouth, it can be said. It's the application from KDB, who's been there, done it. It wasn't a case of being a bit mardy because he's not been playing recently for one reason or another. His application was just brilliant yesterday. The way he got in there, control the ball. Another one for me, though, who's going to be a superstar is Nico Gonzalez, mate. He is just like, he's come in seamless, hasn't he? He knows.
Particularly that Newcastle game. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable in that Newcastle game. I thought that was just a bit of a snippet of what we're going to see from him. Really, I don't know if you remember. I think it was the build-up, won it to one of the goals. Was it maybe Marmoush's hat-trick goal? I'm not sure. Where he was on the edge of his own box. He had a load of players. Right, it was all mayhem around him, and he just took a touch, took a side step, and he threaded a nice little ball through the middle, just dead composed, dead simple.
Rodri-esque.
And you remember Rodri wasn't the superstar when we had it first season. People were questioning Rodri, weren't they? So we can't always expect these players to hit the ground running. But I think all 4 of these new signings, Andy, have shown really positive signs. Do you not think? I mean, Marmoush, I think he was, again, fantastic against Newcastle, and he's done nice little snippets and stuff. I don't think he quite gets the system yet, Marmoush. I think there's a lot more to come from him. But I think Heish, Kusanov, and...
You mean Reece?
Yeah, Reece. Yeah, Reece.
I bet you wish City signed players like Smith, Jones,
Jordan, and Jackson. Might sign my lad one day. That'll make life a bit easier. So yeah.
In fact, I want to talk about Luca a little bit, mate. And I've said to you many times that I'm proud of him the way he's developing. God knows how you and Lara, feel about it. He's coming on, leaps and bounds, isn't it? Just tell people who don't know who he is how he's developed, because he's a different.
Just a little. Yeah, he's doing really well with his football. He's at Burnley, so he's a second-year scholar now at Burnley, and plays for the under-18s. They're having an unbelievable season. He had a bit of a stop-start season in his first year as a scholar, because he's one of the younger ones. So he actually moved out. We've only got one kid, and it's him. And he moved out a week after his 16th birthday to go and live up in Burnley with a host family. And it was all a bit weird and a bit strange. And the first season, he had a lot of injuries. He was in and out, never really got settled. But touch wood, he's been fantastic this season. I mean, he's the top. The Burnley is 6 points clear at the top of the under-18s league. He's a right back, but he's got the top assists in the league. He's played for the under-21s last week and got an amazing assist. He scored his first goal in the cup the other night in the semi-final of the cup. He's got another assist yesterday. We won 3-0 yesterday against Crewe Alexandra, and proud of him, mate. I mean, obviously, we'll probably know in the next week, 10 days, whether he gets his professional contract. So it's obviously a huge time, but he.
So really, the credit goes to the family he's living with, and not you.
Yeah, they can take it, mate. As long as he gets that deal and signs that contract, I'm not bothered who takes the credit for it.
Because it was a bit uncertain when he was at Bury. We know what Bury. It was a bit of an uncertain time.
When Bury folded, because he was at Bury from being 7. So when Bury folded, he was a bit like, what do we do now? And anyway, luckily he got straight in at Burnley, and they signed him, and he's been there. So he's been there since he was 12. I'm hoping he's got a future in football. He's a cracking little player, and he's playing well at the minute, and he's playing well at the right time. You know what I mean? He looks like he's peaking at the right time, really, because it's all getting serious now. And you're laughing at this like you don't know. So his agent, you will know very well, is a man called Stephen Ireland. Stephen Ireland. Yeah. Guess why I chose him then? I was like, I couldn't believe Stephen Ireland wanted to represent me kid. I was like absolutely buzzing. So yeah, he's a top guy as well.
Let's hope he doesn't have the same hairstyle as Stevie Ireland and me, eh?
Right, pot calling kettle black here.
No. I said let's hope he doesn't.
Oh, let's hope he
or have his been grandparents.
Don't get into that. Don't get into that.
Future for people, look him up. Luca Jackson, Burnley is one to watch for.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, right. Yesterday, mate. Again, a lot of decent performances. We absolutely battered them. And when they scored first, if you bought Erling Haaland off Wish, the lad who scored for him first, I forget his name. Yeah, What's his name, Anne-Marie, who scored for Plymouth yesterday?
Oh, it was foreign. I don't know.
It began with T and it ended in Ov. I remember that.
But the name on the back of his shirt wasn't the name that they referred to him as.
Oh, is that right?
If I remember correctly.
It was against the run of play and stuff like that. I thought, here we go. Is it good? Is it going to be one of them? But the way we come back, and again the application, the likes of KDB and stuff like that. It was a good mix yesterday, wasn't it? And fair play to Cushy as well. The way Pep actually rested him. He's probably sent him to the Trafford Centre for a wash bag or something. But it just normally you would get us Beckenbauer in games like that, wouldn't you? Whereas for Pep to rest somebody like that, so I think that's credit the way Pep actually thinks of him.
Yeah. My slant on it is I think it was a bit of a shock he changed all 11. I think because I had to do the team sheet read and I was a bit like, wow, he's changed all the 11. But then when you actually looked at the 11, you were like, yeah, that's enough to hope at home against Plymouth. With all due respect, it's enough to get through the tie. And I'm with you as well. What you said, Anne-Marie, about Nico O'Reilly. I mean, I've watched Nico from being young through the EDS because I've covered a lot of the EDS stuff and on the PA, and to me. He's an absolute no-brainer for City. He has got to be staying at the club and he's got to get more minutes because he's a talent, he's a specimen, he's 6'2", he's built well, he's technically good. You were playing him out of position at left-back here, young kid, and he's still showing what he's capable of. I mean, put him in midfield at some point, and I think you're going to see a whole different type of player. So, no, I think Nico O'Reilly is absolutely one we need to keep hold of. And you've probably seen there's a new, they reckon he's going to be introduced to the squad next season, Divine Mikasa. He's of the same ilk. He's an under 18 at the minute, and he's just, when you just look at a player sometimes and you think they've got it, they've got something. This Divine Mikasa. All looks too easy for him. He's just a very graceful, again, a big specimen of a kid, and technically unbelievable, scores amazing goals. All looks too easy for him. So I think he's getting integrated with the first team next season from what I understand. And another exciting one. And that's what we all want to see in it. Let's be honest. We want to see these, more and more of the youth playing in because I understand the academy's a business and, the buying and selling players, and it's probably the most profitable part of the club, I guess, the academy with the sales that we do. But at the same time, them elite ones, we want to see it, don't we? We want to see him on the pitch like Nico O'Reilly, like Rico, like, of course, Phil and players like that. We want to see more and more of them, don't we?
Do you feel we've got to be a little bit cautious, though, because we can put too much pressure on, like, for me, and again, the amount of abuse Rico Lewis gets, he's a shit defender. He's never, yourself, mate, he's never been a defender from coming through. He's been doing a job. And because the team's been chopping and changing all season because of injuries and stuff, he's like, yourself, you three, that City, in general, we've always had sort of like a boo boy, going back to the likes of Edgy and stuff like that. Why can't fans just get behind each and every one of them? And we saw it with Pep, the way he dipped Phil Foden in and out. He's not really been able to do that with some of them. And it's, for me, sometimes, and you're right, Danny, it is a business as well. And when we had Lakey on the show, Lakey was, the same thought of us. It's where, it's a successful academy. You want to see all these kids come through and represent you. Like we did when we were shit, when we had no option but to bring some kids through. But it's giving these players as well the opportunity. If they don't quite make it, they go on to have great careers elsewhere. Whilst we make a few quid. But we want all these players to play for us. But
even look at last night's game. There was 2 of our old academy players playing for Plymouth.
Grimshaw was one. I don't know. Grimshaw was on the bench. He was a sub-keeper, wasn't he, Daniel?
And this is not me being racist. This is his name, Darko, and I can't remember what his surname was.
Gaibi. Gaibi.
Yes.
Gaibi,
Well, he was in our. He was in our
pronunciation there from pitch side, Dan.
Well, I don't know. Ask Darko. I'm not sure whether it was. I hope so.
The only downside yesterday was the injury again to Aki.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I believe that's somebody said to me today. That's the 21st centre half injury we've had this season.
But it's crazy that we've got that many. We're getting that many injuries in our defensive line.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's probably our best defender as well. Ake.
Yes,
he's a Rolls Royce of a defender, isn't he? But it's a real shame, innit? These injuries have just blighted us this season, haven't they? Especially at the back.
You take three. Paddy, you take say a Van Dijk, a Salah, and another out of the Liverpool team. They wouldn't be. And I don't think Liverpool have been absolutely phenomenal this season, by the way. But you take those 3 key players out of Liverpool's side, and they've been nowhere near. We've had the amount of injuries. I know every team has injuries, but the amount of injuries we've had this season. It's
unreal,
unprecedented. So, and there's players what have been playing with it, with sort of like injections and stuff like that, half fit when we've had nobody else. People forget that, and everyone pinning the hopes on like Oscar Bob. And I was cautious, like the lad's come back from a broken leg. The chances are he's going to have some sort of other injury because, whether it's a muscular, and he does seem to have a muscular injury. Everyone just assumed like Oscar Bob was just going to save our season. Let's have a bit of patience and develop. I don't know what your spin as well, Danny. I don't want Rodri back this season.
Well, I want Rodri back when he's medically safe to come back, and if it is this season, then it's fine, great. You know what I mean? But I know what you're saying. I think there's always somebody was explaining how it works when you have an ACL. But I think because they take apart the ligament from your hamstring or something that you don't use, and the reason that they say 12 months is because it takes that long generally for that to knit properly, and so but. We've got the best medical people in the world. If they say he can come back by the end of the season, then, fantastic. But I get your point, though, Andy. You just want to be overly cautious with a player like Rodri, don't you? You want to make sure, because he's so key to how we play, that you want to make sure that he's nice, fresh, ready to go for next season. So I do get your point with that.
I can't wait to see Rodri and Nico in midfield. The way they just, because people say, oh, he's a replacement for Rodri. No, it's not. Because either of them can play a number 6 or a number 8, and maybe that's. Would you?
More of a Declan Rice, I think, Nico. That's how when I watched him before he came, he looked more of a Declan Rice. He looks more of an 8 really than a 6. So there's no reason, because it depends who you're playing. If when Rodri's fit, if we've got a huge game at the Bernabeu, you might play him as 2 6s and and have a double pivot. But I feel like more often than not, you're going to see Rodri holding and Nico in front of him, and then another up front. Whoever it might be, Marmoush or Foden, or hopefully Wirtz with a bit of luck. That'd be nice in the summer, wouldn't it? That'd be a good one.
I can't say. I can only see the odd couple. I think Pep's. I could be wrong. He's had to fast track a few of his targets in January because of the situation. what we're in. I can't wait to see some of these players like Nico. Even what's he called? Heish. Hey? Yeah,
Heish. Well done, hey. Good lad, you got it.
Hey, every day's
get you in the Etihad doing it next time, Andy. What do you reckon?
Let's try Paddy with it, because Paddy really struggles with Marmoush as well, don't you, Paddy?
Yeah.
Actually, just to be factually correct, it's Hace, Hace, is how you pronounce it. And it's not Kusanov, it's Husanov. Anything with KH from Uzbekistan is pronounced with H.
Come on, Andy.
Okay,
well,
then, Paddy.
Well, listen, I might have to say it.
Who's the other one? Who's the other one, Paddy, who you normally pronounce wrong?
Omar.
What's his surname?
You can take your hand off that little mouse you have. They put up Mamouche.
Not a mouse, that's a moose. Yeah. You know what as well. I don't. I'm hoping I'm going to get the clips, the video. But I did something for City a couple of weeks ago. I interviewed Marmoush with about 1,000 or so fans from around the world, that part of the Citizens thing that they could all link into an interview with him. And what a guy, what a nice guy. One thing that always stands out with me, I think, when City recruit players, they definitely recruit on culture just as much as talent. They straight away humble, driven, focused. Just a really lovely guy, just happy to talk, really open and honest. But when some of the fans were firing questions at him and about you need to score, you here to score. And he's like, I am. This is what I mean. He knows his job. He knows what he's here to do. He's here to score goals and win leagues. You know what I mean? So, yeah, lovely guy. I'm hoping to get the footage of the interview. It's about 15 minutes. And I'm going to put it on my socials if I get it. But he was
we'll
top guy.
Share about. And even Mamouche, I nearly called him Mamouche. Sorry, Paddy. But we've not seen the best of him. We probably won't see the best of him until next season. A good full, pre-season under his belt. But what impresses me about him is work rate as well, the way he tracks back, and that'll impress you, Anne-Marie. You love wingers or strikers who track back, don't you?
Yes, I do indeed. It's one of my pet peeves when they don't track back and help the defence.
You weren't impressed with Savino at Tottenham then? He gave up, didn't he? He was like, oh. Let him run.
No, but Savinho was frustrating at Tottenham. And the reason being, once he missed that gilt-edged chance in the first half, every time he got the ball, he seemed to try and shoot rather than pass the ball. And that was frustrating. But I had issues with Mahrez, Danny.
Did you? Right.
Yes, I did, because I didn't think he tracked back enough. But that's in the past now, and we move on.
Let's call bullshit.
Danny, she just has problems with people on the right-hand side of the pitch who keep her son away from her.
Danny, it's bullshit. She absolutely loved Mahrez.
And Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
Videos
Totally taken out of context, Danny. I was talking about Phil Foden.
Prove it.
I know Andy would do his best to throw you under the bus anyway. So yeah.
Of course he would.
That's worse, Anne-Marie. You're talking about Phil Foden when he was a child.
Yes, I am old enough to be his mother. Yes, indeed.
Grandmother.
And his grandmother. Right, yes.
So let's try and predict what's going to happen in the summer with outgoings. Sadly, we are going to need a bit of a refresh, aren't we, Danny? You know, I can't even imagine a life without KDB. You know, but I couldn't imagine a life without Sergio or David Silva.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of. I mean, I think Pep's alluded to it in his press conferences, hasn't he, really, that it sounds like there's going to be a bit of a rebuild in the summer again. And, you know, it does sound like some of the old guard. And, you know, sometimes it is hard watching players like Bernardo and Kev, knowing what they mean to us, knowing what they've done for the club, knowing what they've won. They're just not quite the players they were. And it's just an age thing, isn't it, catching up with them a little bit. And, you know, it's sad to see, you know, listen, like Pep for me, you know, he could stay here as long as he wants because he's earned the right. And I feel like that's with the players as well. But I think they kind of know. I think certain things Bernardo said, I think he sort of feels like they might be a bit of a refresh and maybe he'll be one of them. But, you know, it's exciting as well, isn't it, for us as fans? You know, we are going to be sad to see some of these guys go. But just like you said then, Andy, you know, Sergio went, Yaya went, you know, Company went, it's David Silva, who's my, you know, for me, the greatest ever City player. You know, they all went and we moved on and we still won things and we'll do it again. You know what? Something that always sticks in my mind when Sheikh Mansour took over. Literally the same season it was, and I was doing something for City. It wasn't on a match day; it was a different day. There was some event going on at City, and I was pitch side, and I was talking to a lad who was an intern. It was a relation to him, so he was part of the family, and I remember what he said to me. He looked at me and he went, "You don't know how lucky you are having this ownership." And I was like, "No, I do. I'm excited. I can't wait." He's like, "No, you have got no idea how lucky you are. You know, he's here." Because at the time, everyone's like, he'll get bored and he'll move on and all that.
Yeah,
kind of
that was immediate.
And you know what? It gave me goosebumps at the time. And it made me think, wow, I think we might have someone special here. And look what he's done. I mean, look what... They can say we're throwing money at stuff, but our net spend is low. You know, we don't spend money, you know, frivolously, do it. We just generally make good purchases. We're brilliant at selling players and academy players. And, you know, so... You know, for me, there will be a few going, I would guess, in the summer. And whoever they bring in, generally, you're going to trust the club to get it right. Of course, we've got a new sporting director coming in as well, haven't we? So it'll be a big test for him in the summer to get it right as well. But he's going to want to make his name, and he's going to want to come in and identify those, you know, those right people. But as I said before, the four that we got in January, for me, all four, I think, are going to be absolutely brilliant players for us. How far they go, I never know, but they've all made good impressions on me so quickly. It doesn't always happen with a Pep signing, does it? Because of the way we play, it doesn't always, you know, always be the case. But even David Silva for our season,
they always say give a Pep signing 12 months. Like Haaland hit the ground running, you know, and it seems, you know, the four what have come in have hit the ground running. So that's going to bode well for, you know, pre-season.
Yes, you see, and just going back to pre-season, we're not really going to have much of a pre-season, are we?
No, we're not.
Because literally, if we're in this tournament in America, this World Cup thing, if we got, just say were to get to the final in it, that gives us 3 weeks between the end of that tournament and the start of the new season. So what kind of a break are our players going to have? And it concerns me with the likes of Phil, because Phil last season, finishing the season, going off with England to the Euros, and then he was late coming back to us. And even now, I think he's still impacted by what went on at the end of last season, because we don't believe we're seeing the best of Phil. And so if we're getting to the end of another season and we're going straight into this next tournament, and then there's only a 3-week break, where does that leave us in terms of pre-season? And
I've wondered that myself. It's a weird one. Whether maybe some of the players that are going out will play the World Club Cup. The new ones will come in and get the break, maybe, because then if there is 4 or 5 going out, maybe 4 or 5 coming in, it gives some of them are going to be fresh, aren't they, to come in? I don't know. They're going to have to balance that so well, because they're going to need a break, aren't they? The intensity that they play at, you're going to need to get a good break. So it'll probably affect the beginning part of next season, I would think, because they're going to have to give people breaks. They can't expect them just to roll straight through.
Too much, we all love football, but I do think there's too much football at the minute, because we're seeing injuries like a Rodri. That's not just down, for me, it's not just down to it is what it is kind of thing. It's no coincidence some of these, and at the end of the day, these athletes are getting serious injuries, and it was it just before Rodri got that, he was complaining there was too many games as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it in it. Yeah, we all want to see it, but I agree, Anne-Marie. I think it'll come down to priorities with Pep as well. Is he really going to go full pelt for the Club World Cup, or does he see next season we need to get back on the bike, as it were?
Yeah, but I think I could be mistaken, but I've got a feeling there's like a written rule for the World Club Cup thing that you have to have so many of your first team players involved in it.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember the exact percentage or anything like that, but I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it's a commercial thing as well, isn't it? I think from that point of view, they need to have the marquee guys out there from a commercial point of view, I would guess. So there will probably have to be a certain amount of the big players, the first team players. So
yeah, it's as I say, it is going to be pretty sad to see some of these. And what I don't like as well, Dan, and we speak about it almost weekly on the show, is some of these players like your Bernardos, your KDBs, who've brought us so much success as well, and they're getting slaughtered on social media and stuff like that. It's really, really disrespectful.
It's hard to hear, mate. It is. It's hard.
It really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a shame, innit? You know what I mean? Because you don't want them leaving under a bit of a cloud, do you? They deserve too much, don't they? These guys have just been unbelievable. They're like De Bruyne. I mean, wow, has there been a better Premier League midfielder? I don't think so. I think he's the one. He's the greatest, probably, Premier League midfielder. David Silva was always my favourite. I think David Silva, the way he played, I just loved David Silva.
Different players.
Very different players, yeah, very different players. But, when I say midfielder, I think De Bruyne is right up there with the best of them, isn't he? And he loves
no one
the club.
can see a pass like him.
No, absolutely. I mean, some of the. I mean, when you imagine when he leaves and they do the highlight reel of his greatest passes and goals, it'd just go on for bleeding hours, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Because he's done that many. He's a freak. He's unbelievable. But there is rumours on, again, only reading it on Twitter today, isn't he, that he's happy to sign a new deal, maybe on a bit of a reduced salary for 12 months, maybe knowing that he might not play every week, and I'd just keep him here as long as we can.
I'd shake his hand on it now, mate. I really, really
I
would.
would as well.
I'm not bitter, but I'm still really disappointed that I didn't get to see Sergio's last match or David Silva's last match for us. Because after they, what they brought for us. I just don't want to see the same, like you say, KDB just drifting out the club for him to sign. And at the end of the day, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier when Rodri first joined us, he was, people was calling him Plodri. It's,
I know, it's crazy.
And it was that year where, in my opinion, where Fernandinho molded him into the player he is now. So the same with KDB. If there's a successor for KDB coming in, it's not a case of if a player comes in, you've got to get rid of somebody. No, if a player's coming in to be a successor, let him be there, that player to develop who's coming,
absolutely.
It's not always a case of someone comes in, someone's got to go, because it's the development as well. Who could imagine somebody coming in and as a KDB successor, and all of a sudden KDB's not there? You'd be a little bit gutted you've not spent at least 1 year, training him with him and developing him.
Yeah, because players of a certain age, he's going to be an icon for him, isn't he? He's going to be an idol to have the opportunity to have a season with learning from somebody as good as KDB. I mean, look at Jack before he signed for us. He never shut up about KDB. He fanboyed him left, right, and centre, didn't he? You know what I mean? And so that's, to me, is inspirational for a player to come and it doesn't matter whether he's a little bit older. Like I say, for me, if he wants a 5-year deal, give it him. All right, in the right way. I understand he won't go like that, but he's earned the right to do what he wants for me at City and stay as long as he can, and obviously understand that maybe the minutes will get managed a little bit over the next season. But I definitely feel like I want to see another season of him.
We've sort of like
been more beneficial, Danny. If you had Kevin De Bruyne only playing every, say, second or third match, prime Kevin De Bruyne, not somebody that's running the ground, because he never really got a rest before, did he? Same with Rodri, he played every match. Yeah. But if you can have him as your secret weapon, when the Bruyne stuff hits the fan, roll out Kevin De Bruyne, they finish off the game.
Yeah, fresher legs. Fresher mindset, not as reliant on him, delivering week in, week out, twice a week, absolutely, mate, absolutely, all day long. I mean, definitely one more, and you don't know, do you? You might have a season like that, and everyone's like, wow, we've got our Kev back again here, and all of a sudden you want to give him another season because he's not over what is he, 34? Look at bloody Modric, he's 39 and getting a new deal at Real Madrid, isn't he? So, if he's still got it mentally, maybe just not being used a bit more sparingly might actually be, the second coming of him. I don't know.
I think it will.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah.
Modric is older than me, Dan.
All right, moving on. Yeah, moving on.
No, but it would. I'd give anything to see. And I agree with Paddy. Where a De Bruyne, playing less minutes, because he must know himself with the age he's at. Being really old at 34, that he's not going to be able to, because he's had injuries as well. For over the past couple of seasons in particular. So he won't want to just fizzle out like that either. It'll be, and whoever Pep brings in, I'm just looking for. Are you more or less looking forward to next season now?
Me. Well, there's still a lot to go for this season, isn't there? The FA Cup. I want to win that FA Cup, because if there are going to be a few players going in the summer, like the likes of maybe De Bruyne or Bernardo or Gundo, whoever it might be, wouldn't it be nice to send them off with an FA Cup? Do you know what I mean? Like, get them lifting that trophy, one more to the collection. They leave it and sail off into the sunset. So, I mean, I think we'll get top 5 in the Premier League. I think we will, because top 5 will get us Champions League, and I think we'll get it. I think we're too good. We're going to be a lot fresher not being in the Champions League. So I really feel we're going to get champions. Yeah, but never going to get a better chance of winning a major trophy than the FA Cup this season. No. So I'm banged up for the FA Cup. I really hope we win it.
I love the FA Cup, mate. It's what we all grew up.
I agree.
The FA Cup, and even the Premier League next season, Pep will want, even though Pep's getting criticised, by certain people, you can't criticise what Pep's doing, because he's working with walking wounded most of the games, and he'll want to come out fighting next season, Pep. And
I agree.
How funny is it going to be though? Like, this is the best opportunity for Arsenal to finish above Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, and they still come second.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
They haven't finished above us yet.
Well, no, it's true, actually. Yeah, we're closing the gap a little bit. Who would you have?
We might catch Liverpool, but we'll definitely catch Arsenal.
Yeah. Who would you have, Liverpool or Arsenal? Who would you rather win?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
I just think Arsenal fans are Oh, Arsenal fans, mate.
Poison.
I'm absolutely with you. I put a tweet out about it a couple of weeks ago saying I literally don't know a single Arsenal fan, not one. Yeah, I don't know any Arsenal fans, and I know loads of Liverpool fans because at Burnley there must be 7 of Luca's teammates, families, are big Liverpool fans. So I know I'm going to get earache, and I'd still have Liverpool over Arsenal because the most entitled fan base. I just can't stand the Arsenal fans. Do me
I can't, mate. I can't.
Well, and there's the added bonus: we can finally shut up United fans as well with all this.
Exactly.
Times.
Another thing, another little perk in it. Yeah. And I don't like Arteta either. That's another story.
No,
so,
Lego head.
Yeah.
I've got to stop buying his hair.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, thank you.
Just one last thing I just noticed, Andy, as well. I've got this mat here with the mug of coffees on, and this is one of your specials. Are you still doing it?
Let's have a look.
Me and Jack Grealish printed on it. My wife asked you to do him for my birthday, didn't she?
That's right.
A year ago. So yeah,
still doing, mate. I just
still
don't
looking well, mate. Still looking well.
Yeah, quality,
not me,
mate.
The mat. I mean, I'm not looking well. The mat's looking well, but
quality, mate.
Imagine sleep from China. That was.
Yeah, done well.
Quality. You know, anything you want, Dan. You know, you just give us a shout, mate.
Nah, good stuff. It's always good stuff.
Always, mate. Thanks for joining us, mate. And again, it's good to get as well as talking sea. It's good to put a few perceptions.
Yeah, as I said, just wanted to put our side of it across because I think Anne-Marie's perception of stuff might be the same as a lot of other City fans. So it's I think it's just good to get our side across in it. So yeah, hopefully that was done in the right way. So,
of course, mate. And as always, thanks.
And no heckling me anymore at pitch side, Anne-Marie. Yeah, stop throwing things at me and heckling.
I'm too high up for that, Danny, I'm afraid.
Knock me out with it from that distance.
Well,
should we throw in the mug of cocoa?
So
she'll have a sign next home match, Danny. We love Danny.
Nah, I doubt it. Danny out it'll be, I reckon.
No, it won't.
It won't be the first, Anne-Marie, so don't worry.
I wouldn't do that to you, Danny.
I still think it'll never happen, but I still think we've got to get Mike McLean back in some capacity, mate.
All right, let's move on then from that one. Right. No comment on that one.
Right, listen, mate. Thanks for joining us, mate.
All right, mate. Good. No, thanks for having me. Nice one. Nice to meet you, Paddy.
You enjoy your rest of your holiday in Spain, Paddy.
I'll try my best.
You don't look like you've caught much sun, Paddy.
Well, raining over there, I bet, isn't it, at the minute?
It's just fucking pouring rain.
Yeah. That's it. I was watching, was it a Real Betis match last night or something? It was absolutely chucking it down, yeah?
Yeah, it is. Oh, you don't make me homesick.
Nice. Well, good to meet you all. Yeah, thanks.
You too, Danny.
Anne-Marie, I'll pass you Danny's number after the show. Cheers, Danny.
Yeah, definitely. I'll sort that for you, Anne-Marie, I think.
Cheers, Danny.
So, yeah, all right. Nice one. Nice to meet you. See you.
Cheers, mate. And thanks to everyone in the chat as well. Have a great week, all, and we'll do it again next week. Cheers, guys. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.